This past year with the Alabama Symphony Orchestra, we got to play Scheherazade, which is a piece that I've done a couple of different times before, but it's always really fun and exciting when it shows up. You get a combination of playing soft, playing loud. Obviously the multiple tonguing in this piece is out of control, and it's just great to hear the orchestra and all the different soloists have a chance to really shine. Well, we had our rehearsals for that week, and then we had our Friday night performance. And then on the Saturday performance, I actually had a videography job during the day that kept me busy from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., the concert being at 7 p.m. I didn't really want there to be such a short amount of time between my job and the concert, but it took longer than we thought, so I rushed over to the concert, got changed, played the concert, and everything went fine. Because of the timing, though, I ended up missing one part of my day that I kind of wish that I would have had, which is my warm-up. I didn't actually end up playing any notes before the first notes of this concert. So even though it went well and I felt fine, it's not something I would recommend. And so what I want to talk about in this video is what I actually do to warm up on the trumpet. This is something that has evolved over time quite a bit. I've done different things at different times, so feel free to take what I share in this video and alter it for whatever your particular needs are. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I mouthpiece buzz. This is something I did in grad school, and then I stopped doing it for a long time, and then I kind of came back to it after a period of time. And I don't do any major amount of buzzing. I don't do like a whole routine or anything like that. I literally just do sirens on concert Fs. So I start with the middle F and I buzz up. And then I re-articulate that top note and come down. And then I do that again. So what I'm aiming for here is more or less perfect connection. I don't want any breaks in the siren. A lot of times when I have people do this, the very beginning of the note, when you start to leave the initial note, has some shakiness. You just want to try to eliminate that and have it be perfectly smooth. Then what I'll do is do a siren, but going down. Same exact thing. I do it down twice like that. And if you're new to mouthpiece buzzing, maybe you want to stop there and just try to get accustomed to those two octaves. For me, though, I go into the next octave, and so it'll sound something like this. So that top octave that I played is where the break used to be for me. I used to stop somewhere around C, and I basically just thought, you know what, I'm gonna try this once every day to try to get over the break. Maybe twice if I think I can get another shot. And that was it. I wasn't trying to learn it, I was just trying to gradually expose myself to it. Well, over the course of time, it took about 2 months for me to be able to do it my very first time. And then from there, I couldn't do it again. And it really took like 6 to 7 months before I could do it with some regularity. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So what I'll do next is I'll grab my trumpet and I'll do some Chickowitz flow studies. Now I used to just play them as they were on the piece of paper or whatever, just slurring up and slurring down. But over time, I've added variations to it to address whatever particular things that I want to do. So what I'm doing right now is a variation of Chickowitz that I adapted from things that I learned from Tony Prisk in our recent podcast episode. What I'm going to do is play 2 breath attacks at the beginning to work on immediacy of sound without the tongue. This is not a poo attack, it's a breath attack where things stay nice and open and free. Then I'm going to play the first half of the Chickowitz exercise, and then I'm going to actually bend down from G to C without moving the valves, so I can sort of set my low register in a good place from the very beginning. So something like this. And then I add those articulations at the end, keeping it nice and long and beautiful and connected to make sure I can play in that low register with ease. And when you do the bend, I've learned that you want to really push into the bend and kind of keep it as loud as the note before was, but it's going to feel weird. The further you go into it, it's going to feel like you want to back off and kind of manipulate. You want to resist that temptation to manipulate and rather just meet it with lots of full focused air until the note just falls off and you kind of hear a pop into the bottom note, and that's going to be a good forward set for the low register. So I just keep going then. And so on. I'm really trying to figure this out because I liked the way Tony talked about it, and as a principal trumpet player, I feel great about my upper register, but I want to make sure my low register is just as good. So I'll finish out the series like that all the way down to the low F sharp or whatever, and then I'll skip ahead to starting on the G and then going all the way up to the G an octave above. And I'll kind of try to see if I can, almost as if I'm connecting that top G all the way down to the low C, as if somehow now those notes are not far apart at all, they're just part of the same airstream. And I'll do that for all these different variations. When I'm done with that series, what I'll do next is stop breath attacking, stop bending, and I'll go up to the high C on the first exercise, and I'll add articulation up there just to get a sense of what it feels like and can I make that sound easy and stuff like that. So that felt pretty good. So I'm thinking, great, the trumpet's in a good normal place. And then I'll finish out all of that series of things, tonguing the top note like that. And then I might go higher if I feel like it, I might not, but pretty much that's the end of my warm-up. From there, I'll dive into my routine. So I'll do long tones and then some of my articulation and flexibility and things like that. And I just kind of dive right into the work that I have with specific goals. But I want to make sure that I do actually do a warm-up where I'm trying to stretch, I'm trying to feel things out and kind of iron out any details if there's some things that don't feel right on any given day. I think a good warm-up is something that can be flexible and change based on what your needs are and what your skills are. So maybe 3 weeks or 3 months from now, I'm going to be doing something different. But this is what I'm doing right now. I just mentioned long tones a second ago, and they're incredibly important to incorporate into a routine. So if you want to see how I do that, I'm going to link a video on the screen that you can check out. We'll see you in the next video.